There's a lot of things you can do. I'm okay with calling him a hack. I'm okay with the finger pointing. I'm okay with all of that. But you can't mess with the sacred moment of, hey, you won a race. That I thought was a little bit too far.
Hey race fans, welcome to another episode of Backseat Drivers. This time we can officially say it, we're heading to Phoenix next week. So let's get ahead and start looking at who this championship for and who the champion can be for the 2021 season. I'm joined now by my two friends, our resident analyst Mamba Smith, and then from NBC Sports up in the booth there, Steve Letarte. A heck of a day at Martinsville, a really good weekend for all three of our national series. But we have to end it on the note of how Sunday ended in just absolute Martinsville mayhem, to be expected. But Alex Bowman and Denny Hamlin are the new rivalry that I don't know if we saw coming. So, Steve, with you on this one up there in the booth, what did it look like with the 48 and the 11?
It looked like Martinsville at its finest. I mean, this is why the place was packed. This is why it was electric. It wasn't just the fact that it was the final race kind of what I consider the regular season of the playoffs, right? The race that guaranteed four guys to win a championship at Phoenix. It was Martinsville. It's the best racetrack on the circuit. It's my favorite racetrack. If you've never been, you must go. Alex Bowman and Denny Hamlin dueled. Alex Bowman made a mistake. He got loose. He wrecked Denny Hamlin. It wasn't malicious. It wasn't on purpose. And Denny Hamlin took offense to it, which I'm okay with until he ended up at the start-finish line messing with the guy's winner's celebration. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. I'm okay with calling him a hack. I'm okay with the finger pointing. I'm okay with all of that. But you can't mess with the sacred moment of, hey, you won a race. That I thought was a little bit too far.
Yeah, just let him have the burnout moment, especially at a track like Martinsville. He's going after a grandfather clock. It's a big deal. Mamba, are you buying a hack T-shirt? Alex Bowman, really quick there on the merchandising.
I was highly impressed that they turned that around so fast. It was bad to the bone, guys. I was there. I was in the grandstands. The place was electric. The fans were going crazy. The boos, the cheers. It was everything you want from short track racing. Give me #more short tracks. I'm fine with everything that happened, just like Steve is. They were racing hard. What do you want from these guys? You want them just to roll over? No, we want them to battle and go to war with each other. I want more rivalries. I love to see it. It was fantastic. You can inject that straight into my bones and give me that every week, and I would be down for it. And I might be getting a hack T-shirt.
Mamba, are you okay at the start-finish line? You're celebrating, and a guy just pulls up and buzz kills you right out?
Look, I like how Alex handled it. I wish that they would have just brawled on the front stretch. I think that would have been way cooler instead of playing battle cars, you know. But Bowman said he's like, we're not to be Bowman Gray out here. So that was cool. But I don't like Steve said, I don't like it, but it happened. So I'm gonna enjoy the moment.
Yeah, next time, Denny, at least give me like a dueling burnout or something cool that we can make a meme from. All right, well, we know the four drivers who are locked into the championship four. It's official. One of those four will be hoisting the trophy at the end of the season, and we're looking at it right now. The light's at the end of the tunnel. Phoenix is on Sunday, so we will know who wins this 2021 season on Sunday. So, Steve, we have to start with the favorite. Let's look at his chances, however, of what he can do at Phoenix, and that's the 5 of Kyle Larson. He's been the most dominant car all season long. Are you taking the 5 still as the favorite?
So I don't think statistically he's the favorite when I look at odds, just because he's yet to prove that he can do it as a champion. Now, this is really his first legitimate shot. He might prove me wrong. He might make me eat my words, but that would be fine. Kyle Larson's gone on record to say that he's more successful now because of his mental approach, and he just enjoys racing, and he goes out there and he drives, and he's driving great equipment, and he's giving us all the right sound bites. But Phoenix and the championship race is not the same. I'm sorry. Will he step up? I don't know. Politely, I don't care which one steps up. What makes this race so good is it is a step-up moment, and that's really what I think we're looking for. Other than the Daytona 500, which will always be number one in my heart, this is the second biggest race of the year, and this is the chance to add a line item to the resume that you don't get the opportunity every year. You're not sure when you're going to come back, and I think the drivers, they may play it down, they may kind of deflect, but the simple fact is when they strap in on Sunday, they know this is kind of a one-shot opportunity. So the question is, how will Larson take that? There's no question he's good enough, and there's no question the car he sits in is good enough. But being good enough and getting it done is two different things. I'm glad I don't have to handicap this one because I'm not sure I have a favorite, to be honest.
All right. Well, it will be interesting to see how Kyle Larson and Cliff Daniels respond to the pressure of Phoenix, especially when they go in as the one that's maybe pegged to win the race. Mamba, what are your chances with Kyle Larson?
Chances, confidence. My confidence is high. My confidence is high in the 5 car. Look, good isn't always good enough, as Steve said, but to be great, to have a moment, to be a champion, you got to step up. And I think that they're ready to do it. They've been the class of the field all year long. Do not let it go to waste. Finish it out. Don't be the Golden State Warriors going 70 whatever in 3 and then, stumbling at the finish line. Finish it off. They got to have a clean race. They got to be solid on pit road. They got to be solid on the racetrack. The other guys that are racing, they're not going to just roll over for these Champ 4. So you're going to have to deal with everybody in the field. I'm excited for it. I would say the chances for the 5, I'm going with like a 90-95%.
Chase Elliott, it is a great storyline of him being that defending champion going after that back-to-back title. Steve, what are your chances with the 9?
I think he's already done the hard work, which is getting back to Phoenix. I think that's way harder than what he has in front of him at Phoenix. And when I go back to last year and knowing Alan Gustafson as well as I do and knowing Chase, they have so much internal confidence that they don't care how the first 35 look. They don't care how the 35 races are perceived. All they wanted to do was line up with a chance at Phoenix, and now they will do that. And I love Chase's attitude yesterday. Interviewed before the race, he said, I don't really care about the points. We're going to go try to win a race. That's what we do every week. And then there he was trying to win a race, won 2 stages, got turned around late in the race, which is Martinsville, and it's going to happen. But what I saw yesterday actually puts another checkbox in the 9 column. I think Chase is the one that people are underestimating out of this 4. Everybody talks about the speed of Larson and, Truex won there, and everybody has a reason. I don't think you have to come up with a lot of reasons why Chase Elliott can be a champion. He proved it a year ago, and I would be surprised if the final restart, he's not in those front 2 rows dueling it out. I think he's going to be a factor.
Yeah, the 9 looked like the dominant car definitely at Martinsville, and Martinsville happened. Mamba, the 9, what are your confidence level, higher or lower than Larson?
It's not higher. It's not lower. It's okay. Different. I don't know if that makes any sense. I think we've seen something with the 9 team this year. I think their confidence, their swagger has been there all year. To Steve's point, they haven't worried about the rest of the season. They just wanted to get right here. Because at the end of the day, if you ain't here, then you ain't winning the championship. So they gave themselves a shot. And I think Chase is willing and to the point now where he can just take it. He has the confidence to just get on the racetrack, do what he needs to do, and take wins and take a championship. He's looking really good going back to back. Like I said, my confidence in him, it's weird, right? Because I just said 90-95% with the 5. It's going to be about the same with the 9. I think that they're going to be right there, and you're going to have to deal with Chase Elliott and take his championship away from him.
Well, Chase is one of 2 drivers in the championship 4 that already have a championship in the NASCAR Cup Series, but we obviously have to talk about it. It's going to come up that he's never won a championship. On the flip side of things, the 11 of Denny Hamlin looking for that illustrious first championship title. So, Letarte, I want to start with you on this one. Denny Hamlin, confidence level, man, he is just a little fired up.
So if I had to pick one, he's my number 1. And it's not a leading candidate by much, and just simply because the numbers. You don't win 46 races. There's a reason, he's part of a very small group. You cannot fathom winning 46 races in your career and not being a champion. He's been here before. He's felt it before. He's seen it before. Will it all turn out? Who knows? Tune in on Sunday. It's going to be a blast. But I believe that just because, listen, I'm that guy in the casino that runs from roulette table to roulette table and say, oh, man, it's hit red 15 times. I'm going to bet black. Oh, it's hit black 15 times. I'm going to bet red. The worst part is I'm a numbers guy, and I know that makes 0 sense and 0 difference, but it makes me feel better about me wasting my money and losing good bets. So I'm going to go in all the same way on Denny Hamlin. The numbers say at some point it has to happen. 46 is not a fluke number, right? He didn't win 5 races or 6 races. He's won 46. He's done it in multiple cars. He's had a chance to win a championship now in kind of multiple playoff formats. I think finally he gets his due and he gets to join that list of champions and off the list of the greatest who have never.
And Steve Letarte's hot take is the 11 for the championship. Mamba, your confidence level there with the 11?
It's not so much the 11 as a team, right? It's not so much Denny as the driver. I have a lot of confidence in the crew chief, Chris Gabehart. I think Chris is one of the best at what he does, and he has kept Denny and that team locked in. Now, Denny's fired up. So my confidence in Chris being able to direct that energy into performance on the racetrack for them is high. So I think that, but it's going to be lower than the 9 and the 5. I'm looking at like 85%. I think they're going to be strong. I think they're going to be in the fight, in the battle. Denny, this is it, man. Like he's got to get this championship and get that monkey off his back. I don't know if it's going to happen. You got a lot of tough competition with the other 3 drivers, especially, the Hendrick teams. It's going to be really tough. I have been saying all year, I don't think he was going to win the championship. I still don't think he was going to win the championship. I'm not surprised he was in the Final Four. They've been strong enough to be there. Are they going to topple this mountain and be champions? We're about to find out on Sunday.
All right. Well, if not now, then when? That's all I'm going to say about the 11. You got to figure it out at some point. Well, the 4th place in the championship 4 was up for grabs most of the day at Martinsville, and we really didn't have any idea who it was going to be, but it was looking like it was going to be one of the 2 teammates from Joe Gibbs Racing. It ends up being the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. He's been in this position before. He's gone after a championship, won one of those. Steve, what's your confidence level with James Small, Martin Truex Jr. in the 19?
So my confidence in the 19 goes up with practice and qualifying. I think this is a team that is a little inconsistent hitting the track on Sunday morning to start the race. And when they hit it, they're really, really good. And when they miss it, they get better, but it's too much to gain in too short of a period of time. When you look at the Phoenix race, it's relatively short when you look at the span of Cup races over the season. So I really think that practice and qualifying help this 19 car. I think Truex's demeanor is very laid back, very even keel. I think he's not going to make practice any more than it needs to be, and he's going to go out there and give good feedback. I think James Small is a very, very smart crew chief. And if you give him a little extra time, I think some of these unanswered questions that perhaps hurt them week in and week out, he can check off the list and be more prepared. Now, qualifying is an interesting point, though, because we consistently see these guys start up front all the time because of the metric and how it's measured week in and week out. The question is now, who will make a mistake in qualifying? I don't think it's going to be an advantage to start in the top 5, but if you have a bad qualifying lap, put yourself behind, it could be a little more interesting, even though Chase proved us wrong and won it from last year. I do think practice is going to be the key for Martin Truex Jr. in the 19. He won there in the spring, but there's more distance between the 2 Phoenix races than there are between the last race of the year and the first Phoenix of next year. I mean, this race is completely spread out. So I think practice is going to be a big advantage.
Practice? Are we talking practice?
Are we talking about practice?
Talk about practice. Finally, I've been waiting. Never did I think I would miss practice, and here I am missing practice.
Yeah, practice makes perfect, especially when it comes to the 19. So, Mamba, your confidence level in MTJ?
I don't know. I don't. I really don't. I mean, they have been inconsistent this year. They've shown speed at random times. I feel like I don't know where they're at. They've made it, though. They made it. They're battle tested. They are here. There's 36 other guys that aren't, so they got a shot. And honestly, I think they're the ones that have nothing to lose because I think they're the last. They are the last team in the championship. So I think that they can just go out there and throw the kitchen sink at it, and it's really theirs to win. I don't think it's theirs to lose. It's theirs to win. They can try some different stuff and maybe get off pit strategy. The practice thing, though, is an interesting situation because if someone has an issue in practice, if you wad up your primary car, that's going to be tough. Like we're not used to having 2 cars there and 2 really good cars there. So I'm interested to see if everyone can get through practice and qualifying without any issues in the 19. I don't know. Go for it, boys. Get after it.
Mamba, I'm tossing this follow-up back to you. These are the 4 that will compete on Sunday. Is there anybody that you're looking at that was a possible leave-out of the championship 4? Who should have been in there?
Man, look, today it's a somber day. I came in all black, DOA, dead on arrival. That was the 12 boys. I tripled down last week, Steve. I think I quadrupled down. I thought that they were going to be in it. I thought they had the swagger and everything to get there. They didn't. That's sports. That's life. It doesn't always work out. But I feel like they should have been in there. They had the last 2 races. They faltered. Kansas wasn't their fault. It just things that happen. And then, Martinsville, they didn't bring what they needed. But it sucks. But hey, we're moving on.
All right, Steve, who is on the outside looking in? Anybody?
If shoulds counted, I'd still be on top of the pit box. I'd have so many checkered flags, I wouldn't be able to hang them in my house. I mean, no, there's no should. Listen, what makes sports great is that it's authentic, that it's real, that it can't be predicted. We could talk about favorites and underdogs and percentages and stats and all of this stuff. Stats will tell you that one of the three little pigs is going to build his house out of bricks, right? They don't tell you anything. Who shows up on the day, on the moment, at the big race and gets it done? Those four did. There's a whole season, a whole body of work. I think that's what we forget here. Races in the regular season do carry into the playoffs. And are there guys that deserve? Absolutely. Everyone in the 8 deserved to be in the 4. That's what made the 8 that we started this round in the playoffs with so great. But only 4 advanced. I do have empathy for the 4 that didn't because I know how hard they worked. But in the end, the fan should be excited because we have 4 drivers going to Phoenix, and we're having a hard time handicapping between those 4.
Steve, to your point, this was probably the most stout round of 8 that we've seen. I mean, it was consistently the best drivers in the NASCAR Cup Series. And a team that I am a little surprised that was left out of the championship was Team Penske. That, man, they really struggled at Martinsville, and I know they had a lot to overcome on Sunday to make it into at least one of those cars getting into the championship 4. So what does Team Penske have to do for 2022? We know there's going to be a next-gen car. We know there's a new driver lineup. So can they advance and make it further than they did this season?
Well, they obviously feel that they needed to make changes. That's why we have a new driver lineup. That's why I have a new crew chief kind of lineup with the new drivers. A new car's coming. So, look, every team that doesn't win the championship, and matter of fact, even the team that does is going to go back and say, how can we be better next year? So Team Penske, they should, how do you want to look at it? They got 3 into the 8 drivers. They're the only ones that get 3 in there, or excuse me, the only ones that get a whole organization, which is 3 for them. The question, though, is, I guess, was that enough? Is that enough? It's hard to say. I think they're going the right way. They're going youthful with the new car. The question is, will they learn it? And will they learn it quick enough? And then, listen, this show's not long enough to talk about what could possibly happen next year with the new cars. We're going to have to, let's just keep sticking on Phoenix. And I think for as silly as it sounds, that's what Team Penske wants to do. I know there's not a lot of emotion around that, but Brad Keselowski delivered a championship to Team Penske. And if I know Roger Penske, Tim Cindric, and the group over there, they're going to want to go out there and send Brad out on a very respective high note and kind of tip their hat and appreciate everything he brought to the organization.
Yeah, it will be the last race with Brad Keselowski paired up with Team Penske. So I know he's looking to at least make some magic happen at Phoenix and go out with a bang. Mamba, what can Team Penske do for next season that can put them maybe on the same level as a Hendrick Motorsports and Joe Gibbs Racing?
We talk about Team Penske, but it's kind of the Fords as a whole right now. The Stewart-Haas, they were kind of non-existent this year, to be honest, which is very strange. So I think the Ford camp as a whole, they got to go back to the drawing board and figure that out. They got to figure out where they're missing it, and it's a new car. So like you might as well throw everybody up in the sky and just pick one that lands in your hand, because I think like Steve said, we can talk about this all day, but one guy is gonna nail it one week, and then they might be trash for 5, and then someone might be great for the summertime, and then there might be trash at the play. So right now we don't know anything about that. All we know is that they need to go into Phoenix and try and get one more win and tip the cap to Brad Keselowski and everything he did for Ford and for Team Penske. That it's a pretty long and impressive career that he pulled off over there.
Yeah, absolutely. Brad moving into that leadership role at Roush Fenway. So it'll be interesting to see what happens for next year for him too. All right. Well, it's hard to believe I'm asking these questions, but we have officially made it to the end of our season. There is only one race left, and it's determining who's going to win the championship. But Steve, most surprising moment that you have seen this season?
How the season started off.
A lot to choose from.
Yeah, how the season started off. Michael McDowell winning the Daytona 500. I think we, unfortunately, I don't want to say discount it, but forget about it because it was so long ago. But I think the season started off with the biggest surprise of the year, and that is Michael McDowell winning the Great American Race, the biggest race of the year, the Daytona 500. It's a career-defining moment for him and any driver that can stand in that victory lane, and I just can't wait to see how we bookend the year, because perhaps that question or the answer to that question may change here in a few days.
Yeah, man, I had to go way back in the brain for the Daytona 500. That was like 5 years ago. Mamba, most surprising moment so far this season?
Surprising moment. I don't know if there's one surprising moment for me, but what I'm excited about and love is the fans. The fans this year, they came out in drones to almost every racetrack. And from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate that because we talk about, all right, you want more races, more short tracks, you want this, you want that, you got to come to the racetrack. Everyone is like, oh, Rockingham, but nobody went. They're going to the racetrack, and people are going to talk about, oh, the sport's dying, this, that. Miss me with that BS. We are here for the long haul, and the fans are showing up, and I love it.
Yeah, Phoenix is a sold-out crowd come Sunday, so we get to see a lot more fans Sunday for the NASCAR Cup Series. My most surprising moment of the season has to be how non-dominant the Fords were, especially the 4 of Kevin Harvick. You get 9 wins the season before, and then you come out, and, man, you just look lackluster. And a lot of different Kevin Harvicks for me this season. So that's my number one surprise of 2021. All right, Steve, favorite moments of just the playoffs so far? What's one moment that you can look back on and be like, yeah, that was it for me?
I'm going to tell you, each round had their signature. I wish there was one moment that stood out enough. But I think in the end, probably the Roval is the race that I think really stands out to me, and specifically William Byron's performance at the Roval, because I went in there thinking no one really had a chance to do anything special, and he proved me wrong, and those closing laps were fun, and he was up there all day long. But in the end, I'm going to say the schedule. I know this sounds silly and it's an easy cop-out, but this schedule and the cut races, each round has its own feel. The Roval was a fun one, though. It continues to deliver, so doesn't Martinsville. And I expect when we get all done with this, Phoenix is going to be the one we remember the most.
Yeah, I agree. Mamba, what was your favorite part of the playoffs?
I'm going to go low-hanging fruit here, even though it just happened, like Martinsville. Martinsville was, I can't express enough how it felt being in the grandstands as a fan at Martinsville, and just seeing everybody and how hyped they were. There was so much energy and buzz. There was so many Ricky Bobby Halloween costumes. There's Chase. It was just awesome to see, and then it delivered. It just did exactly what you wanted to do with the drama and everything, and I'm just so happy that I was there to experience that live.
Yeah, I'm definitely still in both of your answers. I'm going to take all of the elimination races, the Bristol, the Roval, Martinsville. I mean, we couldn't have picked 3 better tracks to have drivers just really mad at each other and going after the next round of the playoffs. So kudos to NASCAR for the schedule. I am a big fan. All right, well, we talked about 4 drivers who are looking into that championship 4 and going after the trophy. There were 4 drivers that were eliminated after Martinsville. So Steve and Mamba, you guys are used to this. We're going to do the season ratings. So let's start with one. He gave himself an F 6 weeks ago. Kyle Busch was out of the playoffs after the round of 16 in his mind. So, Steve, the season rating on the 18 of Kyle Busch. Good luck.
B, rounding down to a B minus. Only a couple wins, and 2 Joe Gibbs Racing cars were in the championship 4. That tells me the equipment he was driving can get there. He is a multi-time champion. I expect more out of Kyle Busch. I give him a B minus.
All right, Mamba, what you going with the 18?
I'm going with a B flat because I feel like he kind of carried that 18 car. I think they weren't great all year, and obviously Kyle didn't love what he got week in and week out, but they made it work and they made rounds. So there's something to be said for that.
All right. Well, somebody needs to take his radio quotes and put them on a pillow or an inspirational wall or something because, spicy this season. We have mentioned him already in the show, but this will be the last race for Brad Keselowski and Team Penske in that number 2 car. He will be moving over to Roush Fenway. But what is Brad Keselowski's season rating, Steve?
B. He made the round of 8. It was impressive, but only 1 win. And it being a plate track, I needed something out of Brad. I needed something I could hang my hat on and tell me how he was going to be great somewhere else. It just didn't show up. So Brad Keselowski it's an okay year. It's a B. He went deep into the playoffs, but it just wasn't good enough.
All right. A lot of 3.0 GPA levels we've got.
Hey, I would have took a 3.0. If you were giving those out, I'd have took one.
Listen, my mom would be so happy.
I know, right? Honor roll. We're grading all the honor roll kids. They're doing fine.
That's true. Mamba, what about you and the 2 crew?
I think I'm a B plus. I'm a little more than Steve, mainly because they went rounds and they went deep, and he had a shot at Martinsville. and he did everything that he needed to do for besides winning the race, obviously, to get there. And I was impressed. I was like, they're not gonna make it very far, and they proved me wrong. So I got to give them credit for that.
At one point, man, I thought Brad Keselowski might be in the championship 4 the way he was running at Martinsville. So who knew? All right, next up, he will be in the number 12 for the 2022 season, but it is YRB Ryan Blaney, the first multi-win season for that driver over there at Team Penske. So, Steve, what's his rating?
An A. He leads the organization. He led the organization for wins. He had the most speed all year long, had the most speed in the playoffs. I know he's going to be disappointed. He didn't advance. I know Mamba's in mourning, but the simple fact is I thought he put the right foot forward for the organization. And when we talk about how they're going to catch other organizations, the fact that Ryan Blaney is still in their cars, still doing what he does is a step in the right direction. I think he's only going to continue to get better, and I give him a solid A.
Yeah, wins on something other than a super speedway. So Ryan Blaney really showing he can get it done anywhere. Mamba, why do you give him an A? You're right. No, because he stepped up this year, right? Like, and I'll be honest, me and him, we're really close, and we talk, about the season, about what he needed to be to get to this point at the beginning of the year. And he's like, we need more wins. We need to win earlier. We need to win on different tracks. Check, and check. He led the organization. If you're Team Penske, you got to feel good about having Ryan Blaney kind of taking the torch a little bit from Brad and leading that thing this year. I know it sucks it didn't work out, but I'm going to give my guy a solid A in their efforts. It was a run. It was a good run. Yeah, the last year we also will see Todd Gordon atop the pit box. He is a fellow Clemson Tiger, so Todd, what a great career you've had. Now another driver who will remain at Team Penske in the 22. He's going to be the oldest driver there, and he's what, like 30, guys? Joey Logano, season rating for the 22, Steve.
So this is the one of these 4 drivers that almost fell out of the honor roll. He's going to get barely a B-. He won a race. It wasn't even on asphalt. Like, we talk about, super speedways and regulars and road courses. He won the only dirt race of the year. So when I look at the 22, and to be honest, there's maybe one I'm missing, but when I look back, I can't think of another race, and I'm like, man, Joey could have or should have, was right there in the mix. Like, he was okay by average standards, but Joey Logano's a champion. He's not judging himself by average standards. So I do believe that, as I mentioned, Ryan Blaney's taken the lead from Team Penske. So for that reason, the bell curve that I was graded on my whole life, he slides to the other side of it. He slides down a little, where I'm going to give him I almost gave him a C+, a B-. I'm going to keep him in the honor roll so his parents are still proud when his name gets put in the back of the paper.
Yeah. Joey Logano, Steve, the favorite for Bristol Dirt next year?
No, I don't even though he won the race, he's not even my favorite for the Bristol Dirt race. So, that's my point. I can't make him the favorite for anything. And it's unfortunate. I'm grading him at a high level because of what he's done. I don't want everybody to get all wound up that why are you being so hard at Joey. Look, it's because I think he needs to do better. I think he would say the same thing. It's nothing personal. We just expect more out of people that can go out and win championships. We're gonna have to see a win on asphalt.
Yeah, JL would probably agree. Mamba, the 22 season rating.
I'm actually gonna go to the C+.
Oh.
Me and Joey got the same close to say. I got you because of every point that Steve just made. Like, we're not grading him versus the field. We're grading him on himself and his resume. And the resume shows that they should have been better. I can't think of a race where it's like, oh man, Logano was like it. Like, I can't really, like, they won that dirt race, but I can't give you a marquee set of weeks even. Like, it just wasn't there. The fact that they went into the playoffs and went so far, I don't even know how they did it. And then at Martinsville, they were pretty much like non-existent, got up there on some pit strategy. So it's like C+. I'm sorry. I hate that, but I got to do it.
All right, Joey, don't come at me. I didn't say this. All right, so I want to ask one important question before I get your Phoenix picks. Steve, does the champion win the race?
Absolutely. You can't have 4 this talented and not think it's going to be a race winner.
All right, Mamba, champion win the race.
Without a doubt, 100%. Yeah.
All right, so we do this at the end of every single episode. I ask you your race-winning pick, but now it's going to be your champion. Who do you have winning the 2021 championship on Sunday, Steve?
With the least amount of confidence ever in my championship pick, only because the depth of the championship 4, I'm taking Denny Hamlin. He's made it to the championship 4 a multitude of ways. He's done it as the favorite, done it winning the most races. He's actually done it in a couple different formats against Jimmy Johnson years ago. And I believe that he showed up in the playoffs. He improved the most. Even as great as Kyle Larson is, winning 3 in a row in the playoffs, Denny went from 0 wins to winning the first race of the first round, the first race of the second round, and was kind of in the mix in the third round. I think Denny Hamlin wins at Phoenix and becomes a champion. Really the only thing missing on his resume. So Denny's my pick.
Mamba, your pick for your championship winner.
It's so tight. I mean, like, I don't have like a super great feeling about any one guy, but I'm gonna go with the 5. I think, Larson, Cliff Daniels, that 5 team, they put in the work. It's time to finish this bad boy off and hoist that championship trophy. If I'm those other 3, if I'm the 4 guys, the guy I am most worried about is Chase Elliott. I think Chase is on a heightened sense of focus, laser focused in. I think that he's going to be really tough to wrestle this thing away from, but I do think that Kyle Larson is going to do it, and I hope that they come through turn 4 wide down into the turn, and we see just complete mayhem.
Yeah, all 4 are gonna win. That's what. No, I'm a little afraid to do this because I am like Steve. If red wins 15 times, I'm going with black. So the fact that he has 9 wins has made me a little but I got to stick with him. Mamba, I've picked him all season to be my champ favorite. I'm going with the 5 of Kyle Larson. Okay. Him and Cliff Daniels, I think, show up when it matters.
So, but Alex, what makes this season so great is that I can't remember a championship 4 that it was literally this difficult. Now, normally our 4, we could whittle to 3 or even to 2. I took Denny Hamlin, and I will stand behind it, but I wouldn't bet a cup of coffee against any of them. And I think that is what we're getting ready to see on Sunday in Phoenix. And that's what sports are supposed to be about, is the biggest moments on the biggest stage with the best competitors. And I think that's what we actually have here.
We dubbed this thing at the beginning of the year the greatest season ever, and I don't know if it is, but it's been highly entertaining and very impressive on all fronts.
Agree with both of you. I have been very entertained. Race fans, I hope you have been entertained all season long. I also hope that you plan on tuning in on Sunday because it's going to be a good one for the NASCAR Cup Series Championship. We are racing out in the desert at Phoenix. Make sure and tune in Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern on NBC. You can get more of Steve Letarte right there up in the booth with the boys. Enjoy it and happy championship week.